welcome to Os in the Netherlands, round 4 of the FIM Motocross World Championship with me, Paul Malin. It's a welcome return to this part of the world. The last time we were here was back in 1998, the 125 Grand Prix. Alessio Chiodi was the winner that day. 2 wins out of 2 on his Husqvarna. We've not been back here since, but this Dutch Grand Prix first held back in 1957 in Lichtenvoorde. It's been held at 22 different venues over the years. And you know what? In total, there have been more than 150 different race winners, with the Belgians picking up more than a third of those with 59. So a lot of history with the Dutch Grand Prix. Here we are, the MXGP of the Netherlands, 28 degrees. It's a fast, hard-packed sand kind of racetrack. We've had a lot of water over the few days, but it's soft in some places, but generally it's a firm base underneath, 1,775 meters long. And we just had a fantastic MX2 race. Mark de River was telling me last night, actually, in the hotel, he said, I think there's going to be some good racing today. And he was right. That first MX2 race was epic. But we'll move on from that. MXGP Race 1, 30 minutes plus 2 laps, just around the corner. And if you're joining us for the first time, that's a quick look at the track. Uphill start, 90-degree left-hander. It's downhill into turn 2, though. And it's a track with varying levels of elevation. Quite unique for this part of the world. So that's the circuit there at Os. The fans are in the house, and orderly, sitting down. That's the required element of this particular Grand Prix this weekend. If the fans are coming in, they need to be seated, not stood, not walking around. And so if that's what we're going to do to satisfy the protocol police, then that's exactly what we'll do. But you've seen the map of the track, you've seen the weather. In a moment, we are going to catch up with Kawasaki Racing Team. Monster Energy Kawasaki Racing Team, Romain Febvre and Ivo Monticelli. Our team caught up with them on Friday, and we had a bit of a tour of the workshop, as well as caught up with the riders as well. So sit back and enjoy the team report here from the Kawasaki squad. It's a home race for them. They're just based down the road, about 30k from here in Schijndel. And yeah, great afternoon down there filming that. Sit back and enjoy this Kawasaki report right now.
Hi Lisa, welcome to KRT. This is our place. I'm gonna show you a little bit around. The roots of that shop is Mr. Jan de Groot. Basically, that shop was Jan de Groot before Thierry took over. There's 25 years of Kawasaki here. There is the workshop. Each mechanic has his work area. Race and training mechanic are working next to each other, and same thing here. We have a little machine room where we do some parts ourselves. Welding, milling, drilling, press, bandsaw. This area is basically all the products used on a motorcycle, from Motorax and Twinner, our partners. Next to it, Dunlop is a great partner. He's been with the team for a long time, actually. And then a little part of the museum of KRT. Tanner Leroc, Barragan, Bog, Xelebog, Paulin Gauthier. That's the area of Monster Energy, actually, with Gauthier, Clément de Sar for the next 4 years. Okay, so here, Lisa, is the engine room. Right here, one of the race engine getting ready. So they do all the metrology here. So after the engine is done, it's going straight away to the dyno room, where we breaking in all the race engines. Basically, this is a full race bike. Those bikes basically are fully dyno. Sometimes we have some souvenir.
Yeah, Ivo is my teammate for this year, the new season. So yeah, we spend all the winter together. He's a really good starter. He got from many years, actually. He beat me many times at training to be the fastest on the track on one lap.
I'm really close with Romain now, and we train together, so I know much better than the year before. On the bike, I really like his technique. It's powerful on the bike, and it's really smooth compared to me. And the things what I really like, and I can see, is really straight and direct with the people. This I really appreciate. He's not a fake guy. This is why I also like, and I start to become a good friend for me.
Out of the track, he has a lot of good quality. He's making joke 24/7. That's really good for the team to have a good attitude, and but at the same time, he's a good worker also.
This year I start to work with Jackie Vimont, so my body is improving a lot. He helped me to prepare one race with my mind. I still don't show, but I can see I improve a lot.
We start really good the season with 2 Holeshot and 1 race victory. I didn't put 2 races together. We are looking more for a GP win now.
The team has to be a group of people working together. So alone I'm nothing. I can make everything those guys are doing. Basically it's the spirit, creating that team spirit and working together and progressing together and winning together.
Quick look behind the scenes there at Monticelli's Kawasaki racing team, and a great nod actually to Jan de Groot, the guy that started it all off in that particular building 25 years ago. But let's take a quick trip down to pit lane then, and the skybox area, because in the waiting zone there we've got Lisa Leyland. She caught up with Arminus Jasikonis, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, but before that Calvin Verlanderen on the Get Van Menroy Yamaha.
Okay, time now to speak to another home hero, Calvin Verlanderen. Calvin, firstly, let's talk about qualifying time practice we had earlier. It's quite a difficult one for you.
Yeah, it was okay. I did like a small change on the bike early in free practice, so it took a bit of time, so I didn't have that much time on the track in free practice. I only had like 2 or 3 laps. And then, yeah, time practice was a little bit rushed, you know. I didn't know the track, I was pushing, a little bit out of control. But anyway, I mean, this is a pretty okay gate pick for today's races. I think, yeah, if I start in 1st or 11th, it doesn't really matter. I just need to get a good start and run up front. So that's been holding me back the last couple of GPs, is just the start. I feel like I'm riding good and I feel comfortable. I'm just missing the start. So, yeah, hopefully I can get one of those today, or 2 of those today, and ride up front. And
of course, a home track for you. It's fantastic to have the fans in as well. They'll be rooting for you. What are your thoughts on this track, and how well do you actually know it? Because it's new to quite a few riders, isn't it?
Yeah, I've raced here a few times, about 2 or 3 times, so I know it pretty well, maybe better than some of the other riders. But we've had a lot of rain the last couple weeks, so the track is actually quite a lot softer than what it normally is. It's quite hard, but sometimes some of the places you can feel that the hard ground is coming up from underneath. So it'll get sketchy out there today, and both the races will be rough, which will be good. But it's a nice track, and the fans are out here, and it's definitely going to be cool to hear them cheering on the side. So hopefully I see them on the sides, and they'd give me motivation for the motos.
Absolutely. Enjoy your home GP. Thanks, Calvin. Good luck. Hello and welcome to the start of the first MXGP race of the day. I'd like to chat to Arminus Jasikonis. Just looking at the qualifying result there, you were 5th in time practice qualifying. Best result so far this year. Is it a case of just gradually growing in confidence, or is it down to the sand?
Of course, it's a little bit down to the sand. This little bit makes me easier. But of course, this result doesn't mean nothing. For me, it means a lot that I'm still can be there in front. But we're just gonna go and enjoy the race, you know, just no pressure, nothing. We showed already we have a speed. The rest we have still many steps to make, so easy, no crazy things, and let's just go.
Absolutely, step by step. But let's quickly talk about this track here. It's quite a new one for many people. For the Netherlands, it's got quite a few hills and elevation, hasn't it, which is unique for this place?
Yeah, it's really nice track. It's a bit too tight for passing, I think it will be. But otherwise, it's really nice. It's sandy, there is a little bit hills. It's really good track.
Enjoy the race, Arminus.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck there to Arminus and all the guys here on the start. It's time for the MXGP Race 1.
Jeffrey Herlings led the riders out for the sighting lap because he is the pole man today. We'll see qualifying highlights shortly. But yeah, warming up, 28 degrees here. It's a hard, firm base underneath, soft in places. And it'll be quite fast, this opening race, certainly the first few laps anyway. Championship coming into this 4th round looks like this. Tim Geiser just ahead of Jeffrey Herlings, Romain Febvre, Tony Cairoli, Jorge Prado and Jeremy Seawer. The big gain last time out, though, was Glenn Koldenoff climbing up 3 positions into 7th. He'll be looking forward to his home Grand Prix today. He was literally born here in Oss and spent a lot of time here growing up. Let's take a look at the calendar, shall we? Here's where we've been. Been to Russia, Great Britain and Italy. We're now at Oss in the Netherlands. This is a run of 4 in a row. Czech Republic next week. A couple of weeks later, we've got Lommel and then Kegham's a week off either side of Finland. Turkey, a week off either side of that. And then 7 in a row from the 19th of September to the 31st of October. And we've got a Motocross of Nations in there as well on the 26th of September in Mantova. Take a look at what happened in qualifying today, shall we? The circuit had been freshly prepared before the practice sessions overnight, and obviously it was a little bit greasy in places, but after the MX2 qualifying, it was just starting to come good. Tony Cairoli put in a couple of laps early on, but they never really threatened, and Tony Cairoli will go to the line in 9th on the Red Bull KTM. Jeffrey Herlings, though, was on a mission. Topped the session on a couple of occasions, but this time of 2:03.2 put him on pole position. At one time he had about a second and a half over Jorge Prado, but then that came down a little later on when Glenn Koldenoff popped in a time right at the end of the session. Romain Febvre on the Monticelli Kawasaki was also in good form. Less than a second behind Jeffrey Herlings, in fact 6/10 on that Kawasaki number 3 machine. He'll be revved up, ready to go today. But Glenn Koldenoff, the homeboy, in baby blue this week. Nice custom helmet, nice custom kit. The 259 threw it at Jeffrey Herlings. 2/10 was all the difference between Herlings and Koldenoff. It's a Dutch 1-2 as they go to the line today here at their home Grand Prix. Herlings edging out Glenn Koldenoff in the time practice session. And that's the run up to the start straight, about 110 meters or so into that left-hand turn, 90 degrees, dropping away on the exit. And Jeffrey Herlings on pole for the 3rd time this year, with only 4 races in as well. Koldenoff second, his best qualifying of the season so far. And for the 3rd time, Romain Febvre goes to line 3rd. Prado 4th, Jasikonis, good to see the big man up there in 5th. His best qualifying of the season. Then we've got Geiser, Jonas, Siwa, Cairoli and Bogas. Calvin Vlanderen, he said a difficult qualifying for him, had to change bikes, didn't get too many laps, was riding out of control just to put a lap in, but he'll be more relaxed now. And Adam Sterry, 17th to the line for him. 2nd time he's been there. Jeffrey Herlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, in a new colorway today for this race. Only has 9 Grand Prix victories on home soil. He'll be looking to make it 10 if he can, if all things go well. One rider planning to stop him, though, will be this one, Glenn Koldenoff, Monticelli Yamaha. Born down the road, pleased that there's a home GP here at Os, his home circuit. He looked good in time practice as well. Brent Van Donnick there, the 32. Ben Watson, the 919, so he's there middle of the sort of left side as we look at it, right side of the box. Romain Febvre, Monster Energy Kawasaki Racing Team. Looking quite relaxed. Your race 1 winner from Maggiora a couple of weekends ago, picking up his first race win of the season. Again, still quite open, the championship at the moment. Race winners so far, Tim Geiser has 3. Romain Febvre, Tony Cairoli, Jeffrey Herlings all have 1 each. So 6 races run so far. There is Geiser. So to the right of the box, next to number 7, Arminas Jasikonis. Herlings the other side of the box. Jeremy Siwa, middle of the left-hand side, next to Sean Simpson, 29, and Jeremy Van Horbik, Strybos, Jacobi, Lacurcio, Ferrato, Osland, Lupino. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. The Fly Racing board is up, the 15-second board for the first time today. Who will it be that grabs that all-important Fox Holeshot? We're getting ready to go racing. It's going to be frantic here. MXGP Race 1. Get everybody through those first couple of corners, though. That is the key to this one. Ferrato tried to go early there, and it's probably caught him out. It has. Riders banging bars on the way up, but it's going to be Ivo Monticelli. He runs wide. He misses the Fox Holeshot line. It's going to be his teammate, I think. Oh, and then he runs wide, and Herlings steals through, and it's Koldenoff alongside him, the 2 Dutch riders. Oh! Febvre. Was that Febvre? Oh, no, it was Monticelli all over the back of Herlings. Herlings just shrugged it off like a rucksack. first drama of the day. And when somebody gets landed on like that, it's normally the rider that gets landed on that comes off worse. But the Kawasaki of Monticelli, more than damaged, taking a hit. But it's Koldenoff who leads the way. Febvre in second position, or he was, he still is. Third is Geiser. Fourth, Jeffrey Herlings. Fifth is Jeremy Seewer as they work their way towards us. Then it's Paul Jonas in sixth position. Bogus is in there as well, his teammate. So both the standing construct gas riders line astern. Great to see the fans here today. What a shot from above that is. Uphill into the wave section, turn right past the hospitality tabletop, dropping downhill. Homeboy Glenn Koldenoff leads the way from Romain Febvre on this opening lap. Get this first lap out of the way, Glenn, just to settle the nerves and see what you can do from there, son. Heading back uphill to go left past pit lane, and Herlings all over the back of Geiser on this opening lap. Just flipping the tear-offs. Had a rogue tear-off there on the side of the helmet. Right, over the line. Glenn Koldenoff. Romain Febvre, right. This is what happened on the opening lap between Herlings and Monticelli. Herlings landed short. Big jump for Monticelli. Watch this. Right between the shoulder blades. Oh, and the left shoulder and arm, bicep. No wonder he was shaking his left arm out. Jeffrey Herlings a moment ago. It wasn't just a rogue tear-off. It was a rogue Kawasaki as well. Hasn't seemed to have affected the 84's confidence, though. He's still there pushing on in fourth place. Very lucky to even still be in the race. Febvre pushing Koldenoff, though. Monster Energy Yamaha versus Monster Energy Kawasaki. Team HRC's Honda rider Tim Geiser in third, and maybe Herlings does have a problem because he is starting to fall back here in fourth place. Back end just lighting up. Everybody riding scoops today. So let's have a look here. There's Jeffrey Herlings. He's in fourth place. This is why he's so lucky to be into the race. And then going past pit lane here, was it tear-offs or was it... oh, yeah, his arm, look, just shaking out his arm, shoulder. He'll try and tough it out if he can. Concerned look on the face of Dirk Grubel. Meanwhile, the other Dutch rider, Glenn Koldenoff, leading the way. Romain Febvre is going to push him hard all the way, though. He has a race win this year already. Geiser has 3, and he's closing in behind them. There were 2 seconds between first, second, and third at the end of the previous lap. Have to wait and see what it is this time as Koldenoff drops downhill. Nice line that, but then the back end just stepped out on landing from Romain Febvre. 206.3, 206.2, immediately eclipsed. Was the time of Glenn Koldenoff by Romain Febvre, and Geiser 3.2 seconds adrift at the moment. Perhaps just leaving these two to get on with it at the moment. And Jeffrey Herlings 6.3 seconds adrift of the lead. Riding, probably injured. The last time we saw him do something like that was in Latvia when he got landed on the sighting lap by Arminas Jasikonis, won the race, broke his ankle, and then didn't start up for the second one. Hopefully, it's nothing like that this time around for the Bullet. Great noise around the racetrack here. Great support for the 259. Can't afford to blink, though, with Febvre right there in his wheel tracks. Here's Jeffrey Herlings, and right behind him, Jeremy Seewer. These two, 4th and 5th. Then behind them in 6th place, Jorge Prado. Then Bogus, Jonas, and Watson in 9th position. Cairoli is 10th, so a poor start for the Italian. Brent Van Donnick in 11th, Jasikonis 12th, then Van Landeren. Olsen, Lupino, Jacobi, Simpson, Osland, Brilyakov, and Lorenzo Lacurcio of Venezuela. So 24.5 minutes to go. Apparently the wind's getting up. Oh, and then right on cue, Glenn Coldenoff. You know what? I just wonder whether it's worth, sometimes like this, when you're being pushed early on like this and you've still got 25 minutes to go, plus those 2 laps, of course, do you just kind of go, you know what, you lead? Or do you just chase it down and hope the other guy gets frustrated, makes the mistake trying to pass you? Answers on the postcard, please, via the usual route, snail mail, preferably. Febvre looking for ways through. I mean, as Jasikonis did say, he thought it would be quite a tight track and difficult for overtaking. Anything but that in the MX2 first race, but these guys are pushing a decent pace at the moment. Just a little bit too wide through the turn. That's going to leave the door open at the top of the hill, but he knows that Febvre was there. And again, Febvre, the fastest rider on the track, 2:05.9, a couple tenths quicker than Coldenoff. See how deep it is at the top there. And then look at the how it firms up elsewhere on the track. Right, Jeffrey Herlings, off clutch. Thing is, he's on the clutch even when he's 100%. Well, if he's riding injured, he's going to be on it anyway, because he's not going to be relaxed, fighting the bike. These two still warring over the lead. There's Geiser happy to sit there in 3rd place. He knows that he's got his challenger, Jeffrey Herlings, behind him to the tune of, what, 6 points in the championship chase? So it's going to be another couple of points gain. That'll go back out to 8. Not the usual showing that we'll see in the sand for Jeffrey Herlings. When you get 100, 110 kilos of bike thrown at you on the opening lap, plus a rider that's probably about 75 kilos, maybe less. So I've just had my first answer via snail mail. It comes from Ben Townley. He said, lead, mate. Let the guy behind chasing make the mistake. Coming from a former world champion, of course. Jeffrey Herlings working his way through this tight little twisty section, trying to break free from the 91 of Jeremy Seewer, who's under pressure from 61 of Prado. Still nothing in it. Febvre still fancies that outside line at the bottom of the hill. And props to Glenn Coldenoff here. He is looking cool, calm and collected out front. Doesn't look flustered. How hurt is that left shoulder of Jeffrey Herlings? Is he just riding his way into this race? Is that just starting to warm up a little bit? Who knows what's going through the bullet's mind? Good opening few laps for Jeremy Seewer here in 5th place. And actually, just looking at the lap times, Herlings now similar lap times to everybody but the leader. 2:06 for Coldenoff, 2:07's everybody else, including Jeffrey Herlings. And Coldenoff still unflustered at the head of the field. Again, Febvre just looking to get in and out early, looking at different lines. Is that going to play into the hands of Tim Geiser as this race goes on? 20 minutes plus 2 to go, remember. You can see how hard Febvre is working. All the while he's taking a face full of sand off the rear wheel of the Yamaha ahead of him. Coldenoff doing just enough to stay ahead. Had his team boss on the studio show yesterday. Asked him how he felt Glenn was feeling coming into the home round here. Is he feeling nervous or pressured? He was like, no, looking really forward to riding here, particularly, more than anywhere else. But Febvre looking to charge around the outside all of a sudden. Getting frustrated now with the Dutchman ahead of him. Mike tried to cut back here. Coldenoff knows he's there. It's going to be a drag race down into the final right-hander at the end of the straight, though, and he did fake to the right and just close the door on the Kawasaki man. Now he's under pressure all of a sudden, is Coldenoff. And we've seen this line here, cutting out early, looking to work some magic. Next couple of corners is Febvre. There's that nice line, getting over that little step. He's almost side by side with the Dutchman, 2/10 as they hit the line. Is there an opening into the first turn here? No, he didn't get the distance. Looking away to avoid the roost up the rear wheel. All of a sudden, only 3.3 seconds now separate Koldenhoff and Geiser in third. Keep the wheel turning through the sand there, up through that wave section. Don't let it leave the ground for a moment. Here, then you can double and then carry that speed, and Febvre has got some good speed around the outside. Again, letting it loose through that right turn. Going long again here. Showing a wheel and half a bike. Around the outside again. Really upping up tempo now. Taking half the track with him as he crested that little jump. Letting it hang out, isn't he, Romain Febvre? Can't pass if you follow them line for line. Febvre is doing anything but that at the moment. But just having to ride over himself just to try and make it happen at the minute. $18 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MXGP Race 1. We are at the MXGP of the Netherlands here at Os. Geiser, I'm keeping an eye on the time of Geiser this time around. His gap between first and third, where he is now, 3.3 seconds at the start of the lap. Are these two holding each other up? Is he just upping his pace a little bit? They were all in the 207s. In fact, the first 5 riders were 207s that time around. Koldenhoff, Febvre, Geiser, Herlings and Seewer. Prado 209, Boger's 210, Jonas in the 209, so too Cairoli, but he's still in 9th place. Right, let's have a look. 206, 207, 207, 4.2. So the gap's still going out between Koldenhoff, your race leader, and Tim Geiser, but he has them within touching distance. Can't afford to make a mistake here, either one of these two. This is where he was so fast a lap ago, Romain Febvre. Again, looking to get out and improvise. Different line choice. The 2 standing construct gas, 189 of Boger's and the 41 of Paul's Jonas and Tony Cairoli. So these guys here, 7th, 8th and 9th. Jonas looking to charge his way down the inside. Another rider here, Brian Boger's, another rider who grew up in these parts, Eindhoven, just about 30k away, and Cairoli making a big mistake there. Jonas got his hands full with his teammate, Boger's. Oh, and he just tips over, loses the front end. A lazy mistake, that easy to make. Probably just took his eye off the ball, half committed to make a move around the outside or inside and wasn't sure. Less than 16 minutes to go. Breathe, that's the message to Febvre. You can imagine it's quite tense under the helmet of Febvre there at the moment. Just pushing, trying everything. Things aren't working out. Having to regroup. And Geiser, 4.2 last time around. Again, just keeping an eye on that because someone like Geiser, 3.5. So it is starting to come back in Geiser's favour. And Herlings also responding. He's 5 seconds behind these guys, though. A 206. The only guy in the 6s, oh, Geiser was also 206. And C was going with him as well. Going with Jeffrey Herlings. Matching the 206s. There he is in the background. The number 91 of Seewer. They would have seen the images on the opening lap that we see here, where Ivo Monticelli threw his Kawasaki at the Dutchman. on the opening lap, where he just got too much drive, too much height, way too much distance for that kind of close proximity on the opening lap. Ivo Monticelli, who incidentally is still in the race in 26th place. This is 7th and 8th. Jonas and Kai Rowley. Just behind them, Ben Watson in 9th position, growing in confidence as the year goes on in his rookie season in MXGP, the 919. There's AJ, what a performance that is from the number 7, the big Lithuanian here on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Just riding himself into confidence and fitness. How much more of this can Glenn Koldenoff take? He led almost the whole race in Maggiora in race 2 before he just got a little bit nervous and just felt unsure about the conditions. Another attack coming from Romain Febvre, still favours that outside and wide. See the momentum that he carries and then gets over the other side of that crest. Looking to make a move alongside the finish line area, but a couple of corners further back, you've got Jonas and Kai Rowley still fighting over 7th place. If anything happens at the front, we'll bring it to you. In fact, we'll go straight back there now, and Geiser only 2.4 seconds behind now. Three-way, anyone? Because that's what we're going to get here with Koldenoff, Febvre and Geiser in the latter stages of this race. Kai Rowley has found his way past Jonas all of a sudden. Now up in the 7th place. Good ride this from the 919 there, Ben Watson. And a challenge once again around the outside. Koldenoff knows he's there, he can ride cute, keep it smart. But he's now got to think about what happens here. They're both going to go inside, outside. So an extra 50 yards for Febvre, and still not able to make the move. Got the confidence though, hasn't he, just to turn over the top of the berms there. Let that scoop dig in. Oh, but not that time. And Febvre down, that gives a massive advantage, and I'm sure Koldenoff would have heard that. Well, that was the mistake waiting to happen, just overriding the situation. He's now going to have to regroup and think about getting back on the pace, because Herlings all of a sudden is now threatening that 3rd place. And Febvre on the ropes. The place has suddenly just come alive, as if it wasn't already. The team told him to breathe a couple of laps ago. That's exactly what he's got to do now. Just take a deep breath, regroup, and go again. This time he cuts to the inside here. First time he's done that in a while, but he's seen Koldenoff do it lap on lap on lap for the last 8 laps, 9 laps. So Koldenoff 2.8 seconds clear of Tim Geiser, who crucially now, for the HRC man, has a clear run at the Yamaha rider with 10 minutes plus 2 to go. But doesn't look like he's gaining too much here, because Geiser, Febvre, Herlings, all pretty much tied together. So this little battle might favour Koldenoff at the head of the field. Especially if Geiser starts riding defensive. Oh, hello. 4 riders here. That's not 2.8 seconds anymore, is it? Koldenoff is under attack once again. Just looking at his split, 31.3 at Sector 1, 30.9, so not a lot in it there, 32.1, 31.1, so he's lost a second in Sector 2. That's why. Needs to regroup himself then, does the 259. The Hofmeister. And you give Geiser a sniff. He was 3 seconds further back. All of a sudden, he's going, hang on a minute, where's second gear on this thing? Oh, there it is, engage. He's got himself right onto the rear wheel of Coldenhoff, who's now massively under pressure. Not one rider, as it was a couple of laps ago with Febvre. It's 4 with Geiser, Febvre and Herlings. And Febvre has regrouped. He has rejoined the race. He's got himself back up to speed, and he's looking to challenge Geiser at the bottom of the hill. What a race here, all of a sudden. Febvre bringing the fireworks to the party. Goes around the outside for that favoured line once more. Geiser tries to close him off at the top of the hill. Coldenhoff needs this. And Geiser takes a look across and has no reply. Romain Febvre storms on through into second position. Mistake? What mistake? Right back where he needs to be. Just over 8 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Your race leader oblivious as to what's going on behind him. The gap only 1.2 as they hit the line that time around between Coldenhoff and it was Geiser, but Febvre just snuck through in the corner just after the finish line. .6 seconds between the first 4 riders. Herlings, the last of that quartet, just here behind Geiser, number 84 in white. And he's not done yet, despite that incident early on in the race. He's somehow got himself back into this race. He goes around the outside. The crowd on their feet. Seating room only. Oh, and Geiser throwing his bike back at him. Hanging off the back somehow with that left shoulder. There's a reason why that guy's 4-time world champion, why he tried to show up in 2014, the final round of MX2, with a broken femur from about 6 weeks before, still not fixed. Knowing that he could still have a chance of winning the championship, he lost the title that day by 4 points to his teammate Jordi Tixier, showing the same kind of grit and determination that got him those titles in the first place, number 84. But Coldenhoff, again, under pressure from Febvre. We've seen this before, and there's a back marker on the horizon. And that played perfectly into the hand of Coldenhoff. Again, the question, how much more can he take? Oh, he's making a move down the inside, and Febvre! Oh, I thought he was going to launch it down into the Yamaha man there, but somehow he managed to pull out. This kind of riding that saw him make the mistake in the first place. Febvre don't care. Just wants the 25 points. He wants another race win. Who's going to win this one? Is it these two? Or is it the pursuer in third? 209, 208, 209. The first 3 riders. Geiser, 212. See, we're in 5th place, only 6 seconds off the lead. Again, Febvre, repetition, repetition. We've seen this a couple of times. Back marker means he can't get to the outside, as he has done lap on lap. 2.8 separated the first 3. It's not 2.8 now. Brent van Donnick circulating there, goggles off, he's been down, tasted the dirt. Didn't like that sandwich much. Whoa. Hope you're sitting comfortably at home, folks, because this one is still not done. 5 minutes plus 2. Coldenhoff has led right from the very first lap. Febvre seems like he's been in second the whole race. Herlings has just found himself some new motivation to go out and pick up 25 points of his own. If anyone from Holland is going to win the race, he wants it to be him. Coldenhoff having other ideas, and Febvre wants to spoil the Dutch party as Herlings makes a move down the inside. Oh, he almost touches as well. He had to pull out of the challenge. Talk about going toe-to-toe, bar-to-bar. Geiser might just have the best seat in the house, you know. The top 3 all go to the inside. Koldenhoff with the biggest gap that he's had in a few laps. Watch this here. He was committed. He jumped longer. But you see it just on the brakes. Febvre knew he was there. 2 into 1 just about went. Oh, just over a second between Koldenhoff and Febvre. No, we can't look either. 2.1 between the first three. Geiser's just said, you guys get on with it. See you in race 2. Ah, commitment through there, Jeff. Again, nothing in it. Herlings just had to stop and check himself there as he was about to run wide. You can throw a blanket over these guys. Febvre all of a sudden going defensive, leaving Herlings to go around the outside. Again, Koldenhoff just keeping a cool head. Oh, and he runs it down the inside of the Kawasaki rider. We've got a Dutch 1-2. The roof is off. And then there were 2, both of them Dutch, both of them hungry for 25 points. The same 2 riders led race 2 in Maggiora 2 weekends ago. And it was Herlings who had the last laugh. Nothing to separate them. Great ride this from Koldenhoff, from all 3 riders actually, to be fair. Absolutely outstanding. Shows half a wheel to the outside. Koldenhoff now knows who's there, banging on his doors. .1 the gap between first and third, which was Herlings a lap ago. It's now 6/10 between the same 2 riders who are now first and second. Febvre 1.9 off the pace. Watch this here. Parking ticket, anyone? Well, tough, you're getting one. He is not given up. He will not give up. I wonder how much pain he's in from that shoulder, what the situation is. We'll see that in the highlights of the race at the end of it all, but we can't even go there yet. We've still got 1.5 minutes plus 2 to go here in real time. This time he goes to the inside. Whoa. Loses the front on the exit though, couldn't get on the gas cleanly. Bit more breathing space for the Hoff. This is where he found his way past Febvre a lap ago, and he does exactly the same, but Koldenhoff doesn't yield. But Herlings leads. Hard, aggressive riding. Oh, he was almost off the back there. I know he was trying to keep that technique, wheelie over the inside, but look at the gap he's already starting to make between himself and Koldenhoff now. Jeffrey Herlings, miraculously, is leading the race here, and he's doing it with about 3 laps to go, or is the 2-lap board going out this time around? I think he's going to get an extra lap just by a few seconds. Running on adrenaline, I think you'd say. And all heart and emotion. Are we going to see a Dutch 1-2 though? That's the next question. I like how Wayne Banks put on the board a few laps ago, off the clutch, and all you can hear in every corner is a handful of clutch from the number 84. Oh, look at that, 8 seconds on the clock as he went through. What a race this has been. Febvre has disappeared. Febvre's out of 3rd place. Geiser is now in 3rd. We've lost Romain Febvre. Here's Geiser, and there's Febvre. Febvre's lap, 2:15. He made a mistake. Geiser will take those points, but we've seen how persistent Romain Febvre has been. throughout the whole race, so expect this position to change before the end of the race is out. And as it stands right now, Geiser is your championship leader by a point over Jeffrey Herlings. They were separated by 6 at the start of the day. Cool head, though, from Tim Geiser. Probably realised hasn't got the pace to go with the top guys, as in first, second, third in the race, but he's third in the race now because of mistakes from Romain Febvre, for instance. There's Jeremy Sear as well, just behind them. Take a look at the story of Jeffrey Herlings' race then, shall we, as he's got a 2-second advantage. Lap 1, watch this. Ivo Monticelli right between the shoulder blades, hanging off the arm of Herlings. He stayed up, Monticelli went down. And since then, he's made up about a 6-second deficit. He found his way past Geiser early on. Wasn't taking any nonsense from the 243 either. Just hanging off there to do anything to stay ahead. He then made this aggressive move up the inside of Romain Febvre. And then he repeated the pass on Glenn Koldenoff to take over the lead just a couple of laps ago. Koldenoff knew it was there. And Herlings now 2 seconds clear. And more than, because there he is, already halfway back to the finish line. 2 laps to go. 2:09.4 that time around. Koldenoff will cross the line at 2:13.1. The gap almost 6 seconds now, and that's what it looks like. Tim Geiser 2:11. So Koldenoff can't afford to sit there and relax. Oh, that was Febvre. That's why he made that mistake. Said it was 4 or 5 seconds or whatever. So Koldenoff now just wants to try and see this one home in second position if he can. Quite literally the home boy. But Tim Geiser getting closer. The organisers, the fans, would love to see a Dutch 1-2. But Geiser may just spoil that party. He's broken free from Febvre. There in 4th position on the Kawasaki. If he can get by the Hoff on the Yamaha, it gives him another couple of vital World Championship points, puts him on 146. But what a race we've had here. Just over a lap to go for Glenn Koldenoff to hang on to second position for the second race in a row. Can he hang on, though? Bricks starting to come through the hard edges of the firm part of the racetrack there. Past pit lane starting to show through. One lap to go. Jeffrey Herlings, 2:11.5. Nothing in it between Koldenoff and Geiser this time around. 2:12.1, 2:10.8. So again, Geiser looking to spring a surprise on the final lap, is he? Is he going to be close enough to launch an attack? Oh, and he's just made a mistake there, just coming out of the turn. So is that going to be costly, yes or no? Or is he going to dig in deep? Just watch. Just offline ever so slightly, caught the edge of the bank. Nothing too much in it, but wasn't clean. But now, all over the back of the Hoff again. Prado and Cairoli, these two in 6th place, 6th and 7th. Which way is that one going to go? Tony Cairoli 4th in the championship chase at the moment. 1:19. He's 6 points down on Romain Febvre, who's third. So no change there. But as we keep an eye on that battle, what's happening on the other side of the track? I think Koldenhoff and Geiser are very, very close. Is Koldenhoff still there? Yes, he is. And Geiser losing too much time that time around, and Cairoli's been down. So Cairoli and Jonas is going to go through into 7th place. Handful of corners to go. Tim Geiser there in 3rd position. No answer for the 2 Dutchmen ahead of him. But this one here, what a ride from Jeffrey Herlings, the Red Bull KTM rider. Quick look over the shoulder, wants to see where Koldenhoff is. It's going to be a Dutch 1-2. Perfect if you're the organiser of this event here for the first time in 23 years. Jeffrey Herlings wins race 1, doesn't even celebrate. That left arm glued to the left side of the handlebar. Koldenhoff second, 2.5 seconds adrift, and then Geiser crosses the line in 3rd place. It'll be Febvre 4th and Siwa in 5th. What a performance from the 84. You want grit and determination. It was served up on a gold platter right there. Waiting for Prado to come through any moment now. He'll be in 6th position. We'll talk to our race 1 winner in a moment. There is Prado in 6th. And it... Yeah. He is not... Oh, and Geiser. Where was that? Final corner. After the finish line. So a dramatic first race here at Oss in MXGP Race 1. And here is Jeffrey Herlings, who provided all the drama.
Herlings, congratulations. Some aggressive riding for you, but just tell us, how hurt are you from that coming together with Monticelli at the first lap?
I don't know, man. I don't know why things like this may happen, man. Just use your brain. Like, I jumped normal first lap, but somebody just hit me on my shoulder, and like I can't even move my arm up right now. I don't know. But get some X-rays when I finish, but I couldn't hold from the pain, so it's very devastating. Hopefully everything is okay. But it was really painful to ride, and I can't believe I still won with that thing, because every jump it felt horrible. So I want to give it to the Red Bull KTM Race team for the great job, and we'll work from here.
Okay, good luck for the 2nd race.
Riding through the pain barrier, Jeffrey Herlings putting on a show for his home fans here. He just wanted the 25 points. He dug deep. He had to dig deep. He come up with the goods, came up with the 25 points. Are we going to see him in race 2, though? Because once the adrenaline wears off and your body cools down, that's when things start to slow down. So are there going to be implications of that crash in race 2? These guys hope not. But Jeffrey Herlings, though, he is your winner from race 1. Glenn Koldenhoff second, a Dutch 1-2 here at the Dutch Grand Prix in the Netherlands at Oss. 3rd for Tim Geiser, 4th Romain Febvre, and 5th Jeremy Siwa. Prado, Jonas and Cairoli rounding out the top 8, with Ben Watson 9th and Calvin Balanen in 10th. Then we've got Jessiconis 11th, Bogers, Olsen, Lupino, Kevin Strybos, Sean Simpson, Jeremy Van Horebeke, Ivo Monticelli 18th in the end, Lorenzo Locurcio in the points in 19th, and Henry Jacobi. Great atmosphere here in Oss. Take a look at the highlights, Sal, shall we? MXGP Race 1, the 4th round of the World Championship here from the centre of the gate. The 2 Kawasaki's, Monticelli and Romain Febvre. Monticelli ran wide, and then that wasn't the only problem. Up on the top of the hill, the next corner, Jeffrey Herlings into 2nd, and then into the lead, Koldenhoff alongside him. Monticelli, look how far back he was there, and then launches right between the shoulder blades of Jeffrey Herlings. He goes down, and miraculously doesn't get hit. But Jeffrey Herlings, end of that first lap, just saying, you know what, I can't even wing it. He was told to stay off the clutch, but when you're riding in pain and you're not comfortable, there's Herlings in the background there as Koldenhoff led. That was how big the gap was. Brian Boger's just made a small error here. That put him from 7th. He picked himself up in 12th in the end. But then Koldenhoff under pressure from Febvre. Febvre spun out. He picked himself up in 3rd as Geiser went through. Jeffrey Herlings then closed in, and that was the only invite he needed. Febvre coming back for more. Muscled his way down the inside of Geiser to get into 2nd position and then went back after Koldenhoff. The gap was shrinking between the first 4 riders on the track because Jeffrey Herlings was joined. He went around the outside. Some crazy riding, some frantic action. He got himself into 3rd with that pass on Tim Geiser. Febvre tried to muscle his way down the inside of a steady Glenn Koldenhoff, who was rock solid, still leading the way. And then he got a little bit of help in hand here because Febvre got nudged aside by Herlings. It was a Dutch 1-2, but it wouldn't last long because Herlings then down the inside of Koldenhoff. The race lead had changed. It was still a Dutch 1-2 though, just a change of the lead. And then Cairoli spun out. He was in 7th place. He eventually came home in 8th as Jonas went by. Final lap though. And Jeffrey Herlings, a winner by 2.5 seconds in race 1. Damaged shoulder and all. Koldenhoff bringing it home in 2nd. Well, need to take a break. Right at the start of the race, though. 35 riders charged into the first corner and downhill and crossed that thing called the Fox Holeshot line right there. Who was it, though, that grabbed that black plate? Romain Febvre, just. So for the 3rd time this year, Romain Febvre taking the Fox Holeshot. He's on 3, Jorge Prado on 2, Glenn Koldenhoff and Jeffrey Herlings have 1 apiece. So as the atmosphere continues and the party continues, let's take a look at some of the best moments, ambient moments, race moments, whatever you want to call them, from that first MXGP race. That's it for MXGP Race 1, and we're going to take a break now for about an hour. Join us. And for MX2 Race 2, if the racing is anything like it's been so far, we are in for an absolute cracking afternoon of racing here from Os in the Netherlands. Thanks for watching for now. See you in an hour's time.